Howdy, everyone. It's Reese, aka Bearman Prime, on this August 19th. Welcome back to my Read the Bible in a Year series. Thank you again for watching. God bless you all. Card in the top right hand corner for the rest of the playlist. And please hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. I really appreciate it. So, yesterday we saw Jesus receive the news of his dear friend Lazarus being sick and then dying. At this point, he has already been interred into his tomb, and he's been in the tomb for 4 days. Okay? He's been a dead man for 4 days. That's something we need to really remember, okay? So Jesus is very upset and torn up about this, and he goes to comfort Mary and Martha, but also to show the power that he has over life and death. So let's pick it up where we left off. Let's go back to John chapter 11 and pick it up in verse 37. But some of them said, Jesus healed the eyes of a blind man. Why didn't he help Lazarus and stop him from dying? Again, feeling very upset, Jesus came to the tomb. It was a cave with a large stone covering the entrance. He said, "Move the stone away." Martha said, "But Lord, it has been 4 days since Lazarus died. It will be a bad smell." Martha was the sister of the dead man. Then Jesus said to her, "Remember what I told you? I said that if you believed, you would see God's divine grace." So they moved the stone away from the entrance. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you heard me. I know that you always hear me. But I said these things because of the people here around me. I want them to believe that you sent me." After Jesus said this, he called out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" The dead man came out. His hands and feet were wrapped with pieces of cloth. He had a handkerchief covering his face. Jesus said to the people, "Take off the cloth and let him go." Verse 45. There were many Jews who came to visit Mary. When they saw what Jesus did, many of them believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus did. Then the leading priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the high council. They said, "What should we do? This man is doing many miraculous signs. If we let him continue doing these things, everyone will believe in him. Then the Romans will come and take away our temple and our nation." One of the men there was Caiaphas. He was the high priest that year. He said, "You people know nothing. It is better for one man to die for the people than for the whole nation to be destroyed. But you don't realize this." So Caiaphas did not think of this himself. As that year's high priest, he was really prophesying that Jesus would die for the Jewish people. Yes, he would die for the Jewish people, but he would also die for God's other children scattered all over the world. He would die to bring them all together and make them one people. That day, the Jewish leaders began planning to kill Jesus. So Jesus stopped traveling around openly among the Jews. He went away to a town called Ephraim in an area near the desert. He stayed there with his followers. It was almost time for the Jewish Passover festival. Many people from the country went to Jerusalem before the Passover. They went to do the special things to make themselves pure for the festival. The people looked for Jesus. They stood in the temple area and asked each other, "Is he coming to the festival? What do you think?" But the leading priests and the Pharisees had given a special order about Jesus. They said that anyone who knew where he was must tell them so that they could arrest him. All right, so first, of course, pretty obvious, see that Jesus is Lord over everything, over all creation, has the power over life and death. And so, of course, all he has to do is speak, and his will is done. He says, "Lazarus, come out." Now, remember when I said that Martha reminded him that Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. There's going to be a really bad smell. So, you have to imagine he's way down in this cave, essentially, in the tomb. He's way down there. He's already wrapped up in his burial clothes, which is just, wrapped in cloth with, cloth over his entire body. And after 4 days, the body does start to decompose. It starts to rot away. Okay. So that's why Martha was saying there's going to be a really bad smell. He's definitely dead, dead. Jesus says, come out. And he does. He doesn't come out like a zombie. He's not shambling out like, like just a husk. No, his body is restored to its natural form. He's free of disease. He's free of pain. He is alive again. Now, there's a difference between reviving someone and resurrection. Okay? This is Jesus reviving Lazarus, bringing him back to life. It is not resurrection. Resurrection only can occur after Jesus' death. Okay? Jesus was the first resurrection. He was the first person to be resurrected into his new heavenly body, which is what happened to all of us who believe eventually after we die our earthly death, there will come a point in the end times when we will be resurrected into our new heavenly bodies, be totally different. Okay, so I just want to point out that distinction there that Lazarus has been revived, not resurrected. Okay, he's been raised from death. And then after that, we see that the Jewish leaders and the Pharisees, they have just had enough. They are now openly planning to arrest, kill Jesus. And they do so just out of fear, out of spite, out of greed. They say that, this man is doing so many miraculous things, the people are going to start listening to him. And if he keeps doing what he's going to do, the Romans are going to come in and take away our temple and our nation. And they cannot see that Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is God. What can the Romans do to him? Man who can raise the dead. What can the Romans do to him? But they're just so blind to it, they don't see it. So they began planning to kill Jesus, which in truth feeds into God's plan, Jesus' plan, for not just the Jews, but for the whole human race. All right, well, that's all for today. We're going to pick it up there tomorrow. Thank you again for joining me. I sure do appreciate it. I'll see y'all tomorrow.